Do you have pads of 6x8 pattern paper and you'd love ideas for how to use it, but you don't want to add to your scrap pile? Hi, I'm Jess from JessCrafts.com, and I'm here to help you make the most of your crafty supplies and time. So let's get making. Today I have 6x8 paper busting template number 23. There are several of these available for free at JessCrafts.com. This one is not. It is part of a pack in the Etsy shop, but if you want to try another idea first to see if it's a good fit for you, you can follow the link in the video description to pick up some for free. This one here, I will be very clear in the measurements today so that you can follow along with the video if you don't have the printable version of the sketch. So we are going to start with the 6x8 patterned paper from scrapbook.com. I went to the holiday pattern collection because I'm kind of celebrating Christmas in July and doing a bunch of Christmas themed projects this month. And I will start as it shows in the template. So the purple are the pieces you need for one card and the pink for the other card. They're the exact same pieces, but I like to, when I can, have those different colors to kind of make it a little bit easier to read. And I start by cutting it to 3 by 8 inches. And then the first measurement I need is 3 by 4 and 1/4. That means that this piece will take up all the way from the top and bottom of a landscape size card. And then the remaining piece that we have is 3 3/4, and we are going to cut 1/2 inch off of that so that it becomes 3 1/4. And in this case, I am going to be using the solid side. There are two sides of this pattern paper, and I'm going to be using the solid side for this 1/2 inch mark, so it doesn't matter that it's kind of a busier patterned paper. We are still, like, because if I used the pattern side, as you can see, it might be a little hard to tell that those are Christmas trees, but today I'm not going to use it in that way. And so I'll proceed to do the same thing with this piece, cutting a 4 1/4, a 3 1/4, and then a 1/2 inch. I like to cut the 1/2 inch off the bottom, and when you're working with tools like a paper trimmer, please follow all manufacturer's safety instructions. We're going to continue with some cardstock. I'm using this Hero Arts Cranberry cardstock, and I do notice that I have quite a few scraps that I would like to be able to use first. I find red cardstock a little bit difficult to source in big box stores, and so I have had to purchase more expensive cardstock, and then I want to make sure I'm using my scraps really well. So I need a piece that's 3 1/4 by 3/4 of an inch. And so I bet that's something I can get out of a scrap here. I want to notice, do I have any that are already that size? I'm noticing a lot of these are like 1 inch. That one there was 1/2 inch. So that's not quite what I need either. But I'd rather work with one that was a little over 1 inch and still use up part of a scrap. So here I'm going to cut it to 3/4 of an inch. And then, sorry, yes, 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to cut it to 3 1/4. And so I'll do that by cutting it to 6 1/2 and then 3 1/4. And then these are the two mats that I need. I'm going to keep things organized by putting them in these trays from scrapbook.com. I already have my card bases. When I do Christmas cards, craft is a favorite color for card bases for me. And then I was really hoping to get something else out of these scraps, but I just don't think they're big enough for any other piece of cardstock that I need for a mat. So I am going to have to go to my full-size sheets, but I always like to remind people that, go to your scraps first. With cardstock, I don't find it difficult to use my scraps. I keep them all contained here with my original large sheets of cardstock in these drop ticket holders. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to need is 3 1/4 inches. And it's going to be 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/4, and that is perfectly half of 8 1/2 by 11. So I cut my 3/4 inch, so there would be 3/4 by 8 1/2, and then I cut those in half. These will be the length of my card base, and therefore they'll be perfect for the size that I need. And here I'm going to be covering up most of this piece of cardstock. And since it's a more expensive cardstock, I would certainly recommend coming in and like die cutting a word or something out of this centerpiece, something else you're going to use, maybe your embellishment, etc., before you glue this larger piece down. And then I do need 3 1/4 again. And this time it's going to be by 3 1/2. So I'll cut it that 8 1/2 to 7 and then 3 1/2. And that is this other piece that I need. So I prepared that piece of cardstock. I went through, I was looking for a sentiment for the card today, and I saw that I had a stamp and coordinating die from scrapbook.com, the wonderful Wonder and Delight stamp set, and I could stamp this really large sentiment, and I had the coordinating dies for it. So I was able to cut it out, and now I can use this on another card, and it's a really big sentiment, so I think I can use it like with a smaller embellishment or something like that. And now I've kind of done a good amount of the work, or like some of the extra work of another card. So I really like when I can kind of get like a 2-for-1 situation like that. And I also made good use of my cardstock. So now I'm going to line this up to cover that hole and to follow the sketch. And it's only going to be a little bit bigger on the sides because it is stretching across the entire length of the card. It looks like I may have got my measurement a little bit off there. I would not consider that a scrap. It is not uncommon for paper to be slightly bigger or smaller than the stated size. You know, nobody is perfect, including us as crafters. So I'm going to put my adhesive around the hole so that I can get a really secure stick. And then I actually, in the sketch, I call for this to be lined up all the way with the edge here. And I'm going to make sure that I smooth all of this out by bringing my paper trimmer back out. And I will just cut my card base so that it's in line with everything. And then, as I said, I'll discard that without considering that to be scrap. I'm going to continue to assemble my card. Now, I want to stamp a sentiment, but I want to make sure that it's going to work and look good. But because I'm doing a no scrap method and I'm going to stamp directly onto paper that I'm keeping on the final card, I need another way of testing it out. And so what I often do is I will take, so in this case, I'm going to be using this side, but this other side is the same as my sentiment area. So I can practice on the back of this with my sentiment to make sure that I like the colors that I chose, that my stamp is stamping well, there's no fuzzes on it, that kind of thing. And it will give me a pretty accurate look at what my final result will be. And I can see here, it's stamped pretty well, nothing particularly wrong with that. I do know it will dry back a little bit, and so it might not be quite as readable, but this is the darkest green that I have. So I think I'm gonna take the risk and stamp in this green. I could, of course, stamp it in black, but there is no black in the patterned paper or in the card so far. And so I'm really kind of trying to keep it in that green and red territory. I could try to stamp with a red ink, but I think I would run into a similar issue where it could be not as readable as I would like it to be. I could, of course, test that out. I'm gonna stamp my sentiment off to the right here because in the sketch it calls for me to put this like almost square piece here, and then the sentiment kind of comes out like this. Now it doesn't have to be a sentiment strip, that's just the way that I'm using it because that makes sense to me. And I'm holding this here for a little bit extra time because it's going to give the ink enough time to transfer. I think sometimes when we're stamping with a stamp block, if we get an imperfect image, it might be because we're just not holding our stamp down long enough. We're kind of used to being able to make quick impressions and go again if we have like a stamp positioning tool. But anyway, so then I have my sentiment. This was also from scrapbook.com, the Word Fetty December. I've used that one a lot. That some of the stamps in the stamp set are already quite stained because it is a stamp set that I reach for often. Okay. Then I'm ready for my embellishments. Now, when I'm assembling this, the only thing else I would consider is that you might want to add a little bit of scrap cardstock to prop this up. This is pretty thick cardstock. Like I said, it's Hero Arts. And so when I go to place this down, it could look like there's a bit of like a bump down, or my adhesive might not hold as well. Sorry, I think I got a little bit crooked there. Because it's hovering above the paper. And so what you can do there is just take some of your little pieces of scrap that you're like, there's no way I'm going to use this on, you know, as a cardstock mat or something like that. We kind of saw, like, I had a bunch of pieces that were so small, it was very unclear what I was ever going to be able to do with them. I couldn't use them on this card today. And so I'm going to put a little bit of cardstock behind each of these. You might even want to put 2 layers behind this one because it is in fact another layer up. Okay, so that's that assembly there. And then I need a little, oh, I forgot to put adhesive on the rest of the background there. And so now I need like an embellishment. So I was going through my different Christmas items and thinking, okay, what have I not yet used that maybe I picked up last year or in previous years? And I found this mini Santa face, which I do not think I have used. It looked pretty brand new when I opened it up. And so I used some scraps from my scrapbook.com Christmas smooth cardstock. It's a little bit on the thinner side, which can be good for certain purposes. And I assembled it. Sometimes scrapbook.com puts like a picture of how it looks assembled on the back of some of their die sets, but this one didn't have it. So I went to the scrapbook.com website and I was able to look at the finished product, but I found out it's been discontinued. But maybe some of you have this freebie from last year when it was offered. I think it was offered as a freebie, but you could also purchase it. I think I got it as a freebie. That's why I was calling it a freebie. So anyway, I assembled that and I created a few. I even have an extra one, which I think I might like leave in the back of the packaging so that I know how to assemble it in the future, or I could just use it as an embellishment on another card. But I always like to make an extra in case I make a mistake when I'm gluing or something and I'll have to start the whole die cutting process again. So I'm going to adhere my Santa down with a little bit of fake foam tape behind him. Similarly, just kind of coming in with some scraps of cardstock and putting him on the card. I wanted to share 2 more quick things before I showed you the final product and wrapped up the video. When I stamped and die cut my next like inside piece, I don't know which one it was, but my paper wasn't fully dry and it came off on the plastic of my die cutting machine and left this sort of like ghost of the ink there. And that was kind of a bummer because it could have ruined my cardstock. Luckily, I could just turn it over and use the other side. But that is something to be aware of, is that if you are ever working quickly and you're die cutting stamped images, but you haven't let them fully dry, it can transfer onto the plastic plate of your die cutting machine. And perhaps that has happened to you in the past, something to be aware of. And hopefully it hasn't happened to you, won't happen to you, but I just figured that I would mention it. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of great tips. There are those like sand erasers that can sometimes help to get a little bit of ink, especially kind of surfacing. And if you work quickly, because the longer you wait, the longer or the more it sinks into the paper. I don't know, I'm not an expert in how dye ink works, but I imagine it's probably easier to clean up the sooner you catch it. And it's just a hazard that like can happen, right? So to maybe wipe down your plate in between or something like that. Okay, and then the last thing that I wanted to mention is, as some of you who've watched my channel know, I'm a lazy die cutter. If there's a way that I can skip die cutting something and get a similar cute look, I'm gonna do it. And so in this case with the Santa face, they actually give you these teeny tiny eye die cuts. I'm sorry, there was no way I was cutting those and gluing those on. It's just not my thing. I think it looks cute when you do, but I did just draw 2 little dots for the eyes on the Santa here so that I didn't have to worry about gluing down or die cutting teeny tiny little pieces like that. So in case, again, if you have a die or a similar die, I've done this before, like different critters where they include eyes, I just try to skip them if I can. Maybe give a few practice dots before you add the eyes in. And so these are my 2 completed cards from 1 sheet of 6x8 patterned paper. I have now kind of, you know, throughout this month, I've been getting a good head start on some Christmas cards. It's also a good time if you do like to donate your cards, which I often do. A lot of times the organization needs them a little bit ahead of the holiday. And so it's, you know, it's a good time to make them before the holidays start to happen. And there are also free printable Christmas jokes that you can find at jesscrafts.com. I'll try to remember to link those in the video description. So I'll link you to this template, free templates, the jokes for Christmas, and the places you can donate your cards. And I think I made a video about like all the different ways that I'm a lazy die cutter, I think. And so maybe I'll leave you that too. I know it's a lot, but just in case any one of those particular parts piqued your interest. If you found this video helpful, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video with a share to your crafty community, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links. See you in the next video.